So in this example, we want to find an exponential function, but they just give us some points. We don't have any information. Like in the last problem, we had deer and we knew what was going on in years and things like that. But here they just give us input, output. And so we want to look at that and see what we can do. So it says find an exponential function that passes through the points -2, 6 and 2, 1. All right. So our basic general form here is still f of x equals a b to the x. Now we need to find a and we need to find b. All right. So when we have an input and an output, this is x, this is f of x, right? So for this first point, this one right here, when I'm putting in -2 for x, I'm getting ab to the -2, and I know that equals 6, right? Okay, so I can work with that a little bit. I can say 6 equals a over b squared, or I can say 6b squared equals a. So I'm going to hold on to that piece of information. Now I'm going to go to the other point, and it also has an x and an f of x. And so I'm going to use that same idea, and I'm going to say the output is 1, and that's equaling a b squared, right? Okay, so x is 2, so that's why the 2 is in the exponent there. Okay, now we can substitute. We can take this and plug it in there for a. So we get 1 equals 6b squared times b squared. So this is the substitution right there. That's going to give us 1 equals 6b to the 4th. That's going to be 1 divided by 6. You want to divide by 6 there, is b to the 4th. And then I need a little more room. Scroll up a little bit. And so we're going to get 1/6 to the 1/4 power. So remember we did that before when we wanted to get rid of that exponent. We were raising it to 1/4 on each side. All right, and then that's going to be what b is. Now can we figure out what a is? This is going to be some, number here, and we're probably going to have to round that off at some point. Let's plug it in and see what happens, though, if we just put it in that form over here to find a. All right, so 6, I'm going to have 1/6 to the 1/4, and then that whole thing is going to be squared, and that's going to equal a. Scroll a little more. All right, so what do we get there? Well, I can say it's 6 times 1/6 to the 1/2 power equals a. So I'm trying not to round off here. So if I say that's to the 1/2 power, and that comes from that multiplication there, then I can say, well, it's 6 times the square root of 1/6, or I can say that's 6 over the square root of 6 times a, or I'm sorry, equal to a. Or I could multiply, I could rationalize the denominator, and then I would get 6 times the square root of 6 over 6. Those cancel. This seems like more work than it should be, but this was one way. Probably took the difficult way there. I'm sure there's a quicker way to do that, but it gets me a. A is the square root of 6. Now I can write the function. So remember, f of x is equal to a b to the x. And then I have a being the square root of 6. And then what am I going to put in for b? I probably have to get some kind of decimal here for that. So I'm going to stop and then get a decimal for that. All right, so this part right here, that works out to be 0.6389. We're going 4 decimal places because they told us to go 4 decimal places. So we'll put that in, 0.6389 to the power of x. Now I'm going to rewrite this. It turns out that they did, instead of putting the square root of 6, they put the decimal for it. So let's just check and make sure. So it's 2.4495. And then that's going to be times 0.6389 to the power of x. And then that would be the equation for the function. Now, a little bit on the 2.4495. I think they did a rounded off error, like they used this and figured out what a was. So if you did that, let's see what you get. If you take 6 and you divide it by 0.6389. Oh, wait. If they used the decimal for it. Mine's coming out a little more accurately, I think. So if I did 6 times 0.6389 squared. Let's see what I get for that, because that's going in right there in those parentheses. So 6 times 0.6389. Where's my square button? There it is. Yeah, they get 2.4492 approximately. So I wasn't going to round off because we weren't supposed to do the rounding off error, so I carried it out. I kind of liked the square root of 6, but that's just kind of a preference thing on that. They really should have gone and gotten the actual number there. It's not the actual number, it's an approximation, but it's a better approximation because it didn't have the round off error from before. But that's just, I'm just telling you that. I'm not going to argue with the textbook too much, but that's why the difference is coming in between the answers. So